Hey, I'm Steph. I'm a motivator, creator, small business owner, and educator. I am a lover of all things health, spirituality, inspiration, and business. These are just a few words to describe me, along with passion, grit, and resiliency. Regardless of what I'm up to, I am soul-driven to create a purpose-filled life and find the advantages in adversity, all while keeping a smile on my face.
Soul Driven with Steph is a podcast that will fill up your cup and leave you feeling empowered, inspired, and on fire as you listen to interviews and stories of other soul-driven and strong women that have overcome against all odds. This podcast was a calling on Steph's soul to serve, connect, and share stories of struggles and successes, all to create a community so that you know you're never alone. Grab a cup of coffee, get ready to learn, laugh, and leave with wisdom and strategies to connect to your soul and get back in the driver's seat of your life today. Here's Steph.
Welcome back to another episode of Soul Driven with Steph. I am excited to be on the mic today, sharing a solo episode with you. And I have to be honest, I was showering this morning and in the shower trying to think of what do I want to talk about on this solo episode? This summer is just flying by and, what is really happening in my life? What am I experiencing in my day to day? What are some of the soul lessons that I have had lately? And there's been a lot coming up around this idea of delayed gratification and reaping the rewards of your harvest. I've shared a lot of experiences on the podcast over the last 2 years that we've had the show about planting seeds and, watering those seeds and eventually leading to that time of harvest where you get to reap the rewards of your hard work and your patience and your trust and the process of letting go and surrendering and all of those things. And I've just been really in the moment lately, experiencing those day-to-day life lessons and experiences of enjoying the harvest. And that doesn't come without some really meaningful work. I have been working hard this summer in both my real estate business as well as building Small Business Sister Circle. And it has been just like such a joyous experience of seeing a lot of the seeds that I've planted over the last couple of years coming to be fruitful. And alongside that, this concept of delayed gratification, because I really do think it is something that we have to figure out how to discipline ourselves to experience delayed gratification, enjoy delayed gratification, as well as something I've been thinking about. How do I teach my child? All of these things that really do lead to experiencing life in a really meaningful way. How do we do that for ourselves? How do we teach that to others around us? So that is what I want to talk about today. And it comes with a few different stories. The first one being a story of long time patience, and that is around buying a new vehicle. I just recently spent my hard-earned cash purchasing a new vehicle for myself and my family. And it's something that I've been working towards for a very long time. And that's where this concept kind of came to mind of like delayed gratification. I've talked about the seasons of struggle and surrender and how once you get through them and over them, you get to experience seasons of satisfaction, seasons of feeling the hard work pay off. But we have to get through those seasons first. And when you get through those seasons of struggle and surrender, it makes the seasons of delayed gratification so much sweeter. So to give you a little backstory, I have been driving multiple vehicles since I was in my early 20s that were not super great vehicles. I mean, I purchased my first car in cash when I was 15 years old, actually. Before I even turned 16 for my 16th birthday, I had a job at 14. I was saving up cash to buy my first vehicle. It was a teal 2-door Pontiac Sunfire. I bought it in cash the week or two before I turned 16. I was so proud of it. I worked so hard for that vehicle. And that car lasted me a really long time until I was about 21, 22, when, 6 years in, it was a 1999. That's pretty good lifespan there. And then I had to buy a new car. So in my early 20s, when I was 21 or 22 and needed a new car, I had no money and I was starting a business. So fortunate for me, my parents were able to help me purchase that second car, especially since I bought the first one in cash. And it was a nice car. It lasted me a couple years, but then it started getting pretty bad again. If you know me, you know some of my like hilariously, ridiculously awful car stories of me, pouring water into my vehicle so that it wouldn't overheat. And I had a tire that flew off. So my entire like front end tire area, the metal frame was warped. Like it was bad. It was bad. But I was a broke 20-year-old, recently graduated college student who was building my business, and I didn't have a lot of money. So I didn't really care necessarily what my car looked like. Okay, fast forward that. Then after that, I was driving my husband's old vehicle, which was an Envoy. And for a while, it was a really, really good car. We paid cash for it. We bought it from a friend. It was a great investment. And then that vehicle started breaking down. Lots of issues. I mean, I didn't even have a radio. I was plugging in earphones to listen to a podcast while I drove around. Probably not the safest thing to do, but I couldn't stand to drive in silence. So I drove that vehicle for a while, up until about this time last year. That vehicle was no longer safe to drive. I brought it to a mechanic and they said, yeah, you cannot be driving this. This is not safe. But again, I was coming out of a really hard season. I had no money to buy a new vehicle. So parents to the rescue. My parents gave me an old trusty rusty van. I call it trusty rusty. It was a Dodge Caravan that they had from when I was in high school. Still going, still had almost 200,000 miles. Now, did I want to drive this trusty rusty van? Absolutely not. It was not that pretty to look at, but it did the job. It got me from point A to point B. It was good on gas. And actually, driving that van, I actually learned to really enjoy a van. The van life became something that I was enjoying. And even though I wasn't in my mom era then, I actually grew to really like driving a van because you have all the space in the world that you need, and it's good on gas, and you feel like you have, a sturdy vehicle behind you versus a tiny little car. So I drove this trusty rusty van, even though I was kind of embarrassed of it at first. One, because it was a mom van, and two, it was rusting. And I was really trying to get my go in real estate. I was in my first year, and, I hate to think that people judge you based on what you drive, but I'm sure there are people that do. But here was my goal, and here's why I drove this van and all these other, for lack of a better word, crappy cars for almost a decade of my life, was because I didn't want to take out a loan for it. I've had a business loan that I've been working really hard to pay off. I've shared that on the podcast many times, and I didn't want another payment every month. So if I could just drive this van long enough for me to save up cash to buy my next vehicle, a vehicle that I actually really wanted, then it would be worth it. Like, I would just have to get over what people thought of me, or, how it felt driving an old vehicle when everyone around you seems to have new vehicles these days. So I drove it, and I drove it for a little over a year. And the funny thing is, I actually had enough cash to buy a new vehicle that I wanted a lot sooner than I purchased my new vehicle. But I worked so hard to save up that cash that then it got really hard to even let go of. So I got even more patient. I started looking online for used vehicles. At first, I thought I was going to buy a Jeep Grand Cherokee because I really like the look of them. I like SUVs. But then I realized, you know what? The vans are actually a better deal. They have more longevity, they have more space for a growing family, and I think I could get more bang for my buck. And so I changed my mind and I got patient. I test drove some vehicles, and if it wasn't exactly what I wanted, then I passed. And it wasn't until about a couple weeks ago when I did happen to see some good deals online of dealerships of used cars really close to me. I thought I was still going to buy an older vehicle, and come to find out I was able to buy a 2021 Chrysler Pacifica and got a killer deal on it, paid for it all in cash. And I still am so proud of myself for doing that. Not only for saving up the cash, because that's tough to do, especially coming out of a really hard season when I had literally no money and I just kept putting money aside. This was my goal. And I let go of people's maybe assumptions about me that, driving this old rusted van meant that whatever, XYZ. I let go of it because I had a goal in mind and I was willing to be patient for what I wanted. And then the right thing came along at the right time. We were actually able to get this new van right before the 4th of July, in which we went on a vacation, my husband, my dog, and I, up to the UP of Michigan. And we actually had a reliable vehicle to take, which was a huge relief and something that we haven't really had in a long time. We haven't been able to go very far. We haven't been able to do the road trips that we've wanted to do because we haven't had a reliable vehicle. And it's taken a lot of sacrifice and a lot of delayed gratification to be able to put that money aside and not spend it on other things, and to not care what other people thought while I was saving up the money for that new vehicle to reach that goal of purchasing that. And I can't tell you how good it felt to purchase it on my own. No one's help needed, no loan involved, just straight cash. And I wasn't able to do that since I was 16 years old, which really, like, that alone, it made a huge difference in building up my confidence in, being able to save money, to reach my goals, to come out of hard seasons, knowing that I was delaying that gratification of having a new vehicle. Could I have gone and got a loan and had whatever vehicle I wanted when, my Envoy basically stopped running a year ago? Yeah, I could have, but I would have been putting myself in a worse situation, setting myself further back from where I wanted to be. And to me, that just wasn't worth it. I would rather just continue to work and move forward with my goals and trust the process. So that kind of brings me to the next point of moving from delayed gratification to trusting the process and doing really meaningful work, knowing that you're working towards your goals. So I've had a lot of really great downtime this year and more freedom than I've ever had in my businesses, but that hasn't come without doing some really deep work and meaningful work, things that you don't always see an immediate reward from. It's called planting the seeds. So in the past couple years that I've been in real estate, I have been planting seeds. Since I started the Sister Circle and especially launched the membership platform, we have been planting seeds. And oftentimes it takes seasons, multiple seasons, for your harvest to really become fruitful. You can have some slow growth in the beginning. You hopefully get some wins under your belt right away to just give you that momentum and energy. But then it's up to you to keep it going and keep it building, like continuing the momentum. So I've been really focused on planting seeds and letting those seeds come to fruition without checking the soil all the time. It hasn't really been until more recently that I've been able to really see the abundance coming from the seeds that I planted and the watering that I've done over time. So I'm coming up in September on my 2 years in real estate, And I have to say, the first 2 years have been hard. They've been challenging. It's really difficult to not only learn a totally new industry, but to become top of mind for people in that industry. And I'm proud of the efforts that I've put in and the watering that I've done over those 2 years to really start to see the momentum build now. I've had a busy summer, and I know that it's from putting in the effort of planting the seeds and watering them in the months when I'm not busy. So just reminding yourself that we really do have to put our head down and do meaningful work, even when we're not seeing the rewards, even when we're not getting that immediate gratification from doing the work. So I'm really proud of myself for the time that I've put in of doing the meaningful work. I'm focused so much this summer on continuing to serve my clients and show up for my clients and building out systems for when I am on maternity leave. That's really important to me, to be able to continue to take care of my members, my team, my clients, when I am soaking up moments of newborn baby life. That is something that is really, really a huge focus for me this summer, is building up for those months of being on leave. So that has looked like growing my team, pulling in support. We have an amazing part-time as well as intern working with Sister Circle this summer. That has been incredibly helpful. We're training up coaches, Sister Circle certified coaches within our company in August, who will take over and lead some meetings and some trainings. I have a very awesome real estate team between my sister and Sherry and our office admin, Tony, who are constantly supporting me, helping me, and I know will be there for me during my maternity leave. And I'm trying to build out just as many processes in place that I can either pass off to someone else or train someone else to, or automate some things, because I know that that is going to be the key to allowing my business to run and operate without me needing to be in it every single day, or hopefully very minimally while I'm on maternity leave. So I'm really just enjoying the journey of entrepreneurship. You know, some days are really, really, really great, and I feel like I'm on top of the world. And then there are days where I feel like I'm drowning. I literally have 3 lists sitting next to me of personal items to do, business items to do, all kinds of things to get done in the next couple weeks. And I'm just taking it day by day, one day at a time, making sure that I'm plugging in hours in my week for deep work to get these things done, and also allowing time for rest and relaxation and rejuvenation and memory building, and just really soaking up all the little moments. And that brings me to my last point, which is deep resting. I talked about meaningful work and deep work, and I fully am experiencing both deep work and deep rest as well. I mean, especially being pregnant, I have had to really give myself that time and space to just do nothing, or to take an afternoon and go to the beach, go hang out by the pool, take a weekend to go visit friends, to just create memories, and just really trying to see every moment for what it is, and that every single moment is unique and we'll never get these moments back. And I think the reality of my life completely changing and my body changing right before my eyes has just brought it to the forefront how fleeting life is, how fleeting moments in time are. So I'm just really trying to soak them up as much as possible, because I know that my life will never be the same once I have a child, and it'll be for the best, but I also am just trying to really be present with who I am and where I'm at, my family and friends, right here, right now, in this moment. And we could all use that reminder that life is fleeting and every moment is unique and special. And it's always the little things that really make up the entirety of our life. You know, I think oftentimes we look at the big week-long vacations or the big accomplishments, as being more meaningful, when really I think the meaning has to be derived and pulled every single day from our life, from the little things. I wanted to share a story too, because as I was thinking about the harvest and delayed gratification and deep rest, I have this experience of all three of these with being in my garden. So this is the third year that I've planted in my garden box in my yard, and this is the best harvest that I've ever had. And I was kind of joking to my husband the other day saying, like, am I just getting better? Like, am I getting better at gardening, or is my soil just really good? And who knows, maybe it's a combination of both, but I think it goes to show when I was saying that, oftentimes it's season after season that adds up to create the harvest, and that it only continues to get better. I think that goes for a lot of things in our life, whether that is, your business, season after season, it gets better, it grows deeper, you have stronger relationships and connections. Even just seasonalities of hobbies, and every season of that hobby that you continue to do it, you get better and you get to experience deeper meaning in just being present and showing up. So I walked into my garden after being gone for a week of vacation and followed that by a business conference, and my beans were just overflowing. I had literally more than a bowl full of green beans. And then I had some tomatoes and some cucumbers growing, like just everything is like growing. And so I'm picking these beans and I'm just like being so present in the moment of just this experience of, this is the third year and I am reaping the reward. And it's just savoring those sweet moments. It was so peaceful of just being in my garden. And then I was thinking about the seasons to come and how I can't wait to experience them with my daughter and teaching her how to garden. And there's so many amazing lessons that can be learned from planting seeds, watering seeds, experiencing joy in the journey and that delayed gratification, and then having your first harvest, and then letting that harvest continue to build and compound and grow over time to the point where you experience abundance. And I just had this aha moment of like, wow, I am experiencing abundance in so many areas of my life. But it didn't come without the seasons of waiting and watering and weeding out the things that no longer fit into my life, into my goals, into my dreams, and being really intentionally watering the things that I wanted to grow and pulling the things that I didn't. And I just have so much gratitude for my patience, because the delayed gratification of the abundance and the harvest is so worth it. I can't even explain in words how good it feels to come out of a hard season, a drought, if you will, to then experience abundance. So wherever you're at right now, know that there's a season of abundance waiting for you. There is a plethora of harvest that you have no idea what is coming. And it is through the seasons of planting and watering and waiting and weeding that you will experience that abundance. So I'm just really soaking up moments, big and small, with family, with friends, doing meaningful work. I'm so excited about the work that I'm doing right now in both of my businesses every single day. I'm excited about the podcast and the episodes that I'm bringing to you guys. I'm excited about planning my maternity leave and really testing, like, is this going to work? Can I really step away from my businesses for 2 or 3 months and they will continue to run without me. That is like the test of a lifetime. And I get to do it. I have the honor of doing it by welcoming in my baby girl to this world. So what an experience. And everything is that. Everything is an experience and an experiment. There is no wrong way to do life or to do business. Everything's an experiment. And we either experience a positive or we learn from it. We have a lesson that we grow from it. And I just can't tell you how excited I am about the season of life that I'm in. I'm really trying to soak it up. There are days, like I said, where I am overwhelmed with all the things that I'm doing, but it is truly blessings. It is so much good that I can't feel stressed about it. I don't let myself feel stressed or, crabby or angry about it. I step back when I start to feel that way, and I give myself time to reset, to recharge so that I can come back with a clear mind, with good energy. And a lot of it is really just trusting the process and surrendering. When I start to feel maybe feelings coming up of, oh gosh, I only have this much time before the baby comes. I have so many things to do, or I want to make more money before I'm not working for 3 months. Like all of those fears and anxieties that come up, I acknowledge them. That's human. I am human. And then I surrender them. I let them go because I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting God's plan because He knows. He has always known more than I do of what's to come and the good that is to come from every experience that we have, good or bad or neutral or anywhere ranged in between. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of just sharing my heart, where I'm at, these experiences that I'm having of this deep gratification, delayed gratification. It's gratification that comes from waiting, being patient, trusting, not caring what other people think, focusing on what I want and the goals that I have for myself as well as my family. And then finding that deep, meaningful work and deep, meaningful rest. The last thing I'll share with you is just the kind of balance that I've had this summer of those two things. So I shared with you, we went up north to Upper Michigan and experienced the UP for 3 days. We did actually a really cool glamping experience in a yurt, which is about the extent of camping that I do. So we stayed 2 nights overnight in a yurt. We did tons of hiking. There were so many waterfalls in Ironwood, Michigan, where we were. We got to lay on the beach of Lake Superior, and it was just like really good time disconnecting with my husband and my dog. And we really had no service. So like we were truly disconnected. And I just took so many photos and videos, and I just really wanted to like savor and capture these memories. In fact, the last night that we were there, we made a campfire, we made dinner, and then we were kind of like, what should we do? We found some games in the yurt, and they had a chessboard. And I was kind of a little bit, I don't know if I want to learn to play chess right now. And my husband said, no, I'll teach you. Okay, well, we got plenty of time. We got nothing to do. Our phones don't even work. Let's learn some chess. So he got out the board and taught me how to play. We did a quick like mini game learning, and then we did an actual game. And I bet we stayed up till 10 or 11 p.m. in the dark in this yurt. We're playing chess by lantern because there's no electricity and it's officially dark out. So we're playing chess by lantern, and I'm actually beating him, which was pretty crazy for my first real game of chess. But it was so much fun. And I just like, it's one of those moments where you're like in the moment and you're just realizing that like, this is a memory, that this is an experience that we're going to have forever. It's one of our last trips, just him and I, before we have children in our family. And we had our dog with us, and we're playing chess by lantern. We stay up late. Neither of us actually ended up winning. We called it a draw because no one was looking to win. And it was just a memory that we made that I will always remember, and hopefully we'll continue to play some chess because we had a lot of fun, and it was quite a game of strategy, which I really liked. So it was just a moment in time where you're kind of like taking yourself out of your body and reminding yourself that these are the moments that we need to create more of. So that was one end. Literally didn't work at all on this trip, had no service, totally disconnected in nature, spending quality time with my husband and my dog. And then we came back on Sunday. I had one day to pack, do laundry, get some work done. And then I left that Monday to go to a business conference. And it was a member rally for this organization community that I'm part of, that my mentor runs, called More Than Just Great Dancing. And it was held in Minneapolis, so not far. One of my really good friends in business, she's probably listening to the podcast right now, Trisha, picked me up, and we rode together to the conference, which was so fun to just catch up. And then I was in the opposite. I was in this deep, meaningful work. Like, I wasn't working, but I was learning and filling up my cup, learning new leadership ideas, tactics, and different ways, connecting with other business owners. So I went from physical work of hiking and walking and going to the beach and being outside in nature to brain work inside, sitting a lot. But my mind is just thinking and coming up with new ideas and learning new things. And then it's social work because I'm making new connections and I'm connecting with old connections and I'm talking with people and catching up and all of those things. And it was so cup filling to be a student again and to be in the room, not speaking, not teaching, just learning, soaking up, taking all the notes, coming home to apply with my team. And I left that conference with this renewed sense of the meaning behind what I'm building and what I'm doing in my life is so much more than just to build businesses. And I don't know why it has taken me so long to have this sort of aha experience. I talk about the business being so much more than just a way of making a living. And anytime I would go to a conference in the past, it was all about building the business. That was my mentality. That was my mindset. And while I still love building the business and I still love the strategy, I just had this realization that it's about the other side of it. It's about building the business, having the career, whatever it is, doing the meaningful work so that I get the deep rest and I get the freedom. And I get the family time and the memories and the experiences and the things that I have. It all intermixes and it all happens at once. I don't think we ever can really just build the business to build the business. We get burned out. We need to have meaning behind what we're doing, what we're building. And my meaning for what I'm doing has become so much more clear going into the season of becoming a mom. I just have this reminder every day as I look down in my belly that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I can build a business that allows me to have a 3-month maternity leave and still make money and still be able to serve my people, my clients. Oh, this is the why. And whether you have kids or not, I think we all have to find that deeper meaning to the work that we're doing. And that's where the delayed gratification becomes motivating. We can push through and delay the gratification because we're working for something more meaningful. So much more than just money, dollar signs, fame, accomplishments. We're finding the deeper meaning. So I just have had so many aha moments lately that I wanted to share with you on this solo episode. I hope this is making sense as I had a few points that I wrote down, but I'm kind of just spilling my heart out to you right now. And these are the soul-driven conversations that I want to have because life is so much more than just the work that you do. And I love the work that I do, but there's so much meaning behind what I'm doing. Coming out of this hard season, there's so much meaning behind what I'm doing, and going into a new season, of becoming a parent, there's even more meaning behind what I'm doing and what I'm building. And it's not just about me and what I want. It's about, my clients and my members and my family. And at the end of the day, it's about this little girl getting the best of me. It has deepened my desire to continue to build my businesses because I want to be that example for her. I want to show her what is possible, especially as a young girl or a young woman, to be able to chase your dreams, to build a business if that's what you want. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can do that. Here are the things. So I just cannot encapsulate enough how excited I am for the work that I'm doing, the deep rest that I'm experiencing, and the delayed gratification that I've had. And all these synchronistic moments coming together in this season that I'm experiencing. And I want you to think of your own seasons. Where are you delaying gratification? Because it's going to be so much sweeter on the other side when you get there. Because trust me, if you're delaying it, it is. Where are you planting seeds and watering and weeding and waiting and praying and trusting and letting go? And just know that I am there for you. I am cheering for you, and I am praying for you too. Because you're going to come out on the other side of those seasons and hopefully have all these kind of out of body moments where you realize that I created the life. I did the thing. I intentionally created a life that I love. And maybe it came from experiencing the opposite of feeling like I was stuck, like I was chained, like I was held back from all of the abundance that I wanted to experience. So I hope that for you. I'm sending you so much love, so many good vibes, so many prayers for the season that you're in. And I would love to know if you've had these moments lately of just feeling the sweetness of life, savoring the sweet moments. Let me know what they are, because I want to relish in them with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to continuing to share more and more of these kind of soul growth experiences that I am having, as well as bringing on more awesome guests to the podcast. So thank you for listening. And until next time, keep following what drives your soul. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Soul Driven with Steph. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it out with someone else who needs to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that you know when new episodes drop. And until next time, be sure to take care of your mind, your body, and your soul.